Okay, guys, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for coming. We're so excited you're here. This is just going to be a short little webinar about what recruitment is going to look like, some of the changes that we've been making and what we've been working on this summer, and hopefully it'll just give you a little bit more information so you can start planning for recruitment. Okay, so this is just our agenda, what we'll kind of be covering, and we'll just go through each slide and talk about it all. Oh, and the little chat box, as you guys have questions, you can type it into the chat box or the Q&A box, and we'll answer it as we go along or at the end of the session. So just whenever you think of questions, you can type it and we'll get to those at the end. So now we're gonna,
oh, sorry. Hi, everybody. My name is Riley Burr, and I'm the Vice President of Recruitment Programming this year.
My name is Heather Ballou, and I'm the Vice President of Recruitment Operations.
My name is Meredith Dalma, and I'm the head recruitment guide this year.
My name's Harper Morris, and I'm the operations assistant.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the schedule. I know many of you have already seen this because we've been posting it everywhere. We actually made a change to it last week. So the first 3 rounds are going to be held virtually. Round 1 is open house. That'll be on August 19th. Each P&M will attend 11 parties over 1 day on Zoom, and that's like attending the 11 parties is just like normal. And then round 2 is philanthropy, August 20th. P&Ms will attend a maximum of 8 parties over 1 day on Zoom. And then round 3, sisterhood round, is split into 2 days so that we can have time for more in-depth conversations and one-on-one conversations, process more personal that day, and P&Ms will attend a maximum of 5 parties that day, those 2 days. And then round 4 is our in-person round, and usually preference is 1 night, and there's usually only 3 parties that people can attend, but now we're extended it to a whole day for there to be 10 parties, and then P&Ms will attend a maximum of 2 parties across that day. And then bid day / night will be August 24th, and that is the first day of school, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Okay, so as for COVID safety precautions, the most important aspect of Recruitment 2020 is the health and the safety of our P&Ms, our staff, and our row gammas. So that's our main goal this year, and that is one of the reasons why we have chosen recruitment in a hybrid model of both online and in-person parties, as Heather has just mentioned. We also have a fully virtual option available, so if you choose or feel that you would like to participate that way, just please contact us and we can accommodate you. Another big thing is that everyone will be required to wear masks when interacting with people outside of their dorms. So make sure you definitely have a mask or a few of them, and you'll be bringing those with you everywhere. And then additionally, chapters will not be serving drinks or food or any of that, and they will be cleaning very thoroughly in between parties during the in-person
round. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about Zoom, recruitment on Zoom. So instead of attending parties in person, we'll be doing it on Zoom, kind of like this. And so every day you'll receive links to the Zoom party that you will be attending to. You'll receive it in your email. Your recruitment guides will bring you a list to your door. And it'll also be available in our app that we'll be using throughout recruitment, and we'll talk more about the app later. So I know it can seem kind of scary being on Zoom, but our chapters are working really hard to make it as normal and exciting and easy as possible. And so you'll get to interact with chapters in like a big group, and then you'll also get to interact with active chapter members in a smaller breakout room as well. And so you'll get to hear a lot about the chapter, and then you'll get to have one-on-one conversation as well. And so you'll still get to learn all about the chapters, about their philanthropy, about what they are involved in on campus. It'll just be over Zoom. But chapters and Panhellenic are working really hard to make sure it's as easy and exciting and normal as possible.
Okay, now we're going to talk about some tips and tricks for recruitment. So the first thing is to find a way to keep track of your thoughts after each party. You'll be joining lots of Zoom parties and talking to lots of members in different chapters. And so a good way to take notes on that is paper, pencil. You could take notes in your phone. I like using like emojis or something to help you just kind of know who you talked to, what you talked about, and it'll kind of help you make decisions later. Clean and organized workspace to attend each Zoom party. That'll keep you from being distracted by different things on your desk and just other things in your room. So just, cleaning off your area and having a nice little space. It'll be important to have chargers close to you so you can just plug in that laptop and not have to worry about it. And then having good headphones. So lots of you will probably be living in the dorms or have a roommate or something. And so if you're in parties at the same time, a good way to minimize like hearing your roommate or other things is by headphones. So, the headphone port in the laptop is just a super easy way to minimize that. And then a big one is technical issues. So we are prepared for any issues that may arise with technology, and recruitment guides and our Panhellenic staff will be ready for any issues that may arise. So the first thing is don't worry. I know that personally, if that happened, I'd be like, oh no, but it'll be okay. And we'll work with you and figure it out. You will never be penalized for technical issues that happen that like aren't your fault, because, it's online, it's internet, but we'll just figure it out. And then lastly, just be yourself. These chapters are really excited to get to know you. And so just truly, be yourself. Okay, so next is what should you bring for the in-person day? So this is preference round. An important thing is going to be water bottles. You're going to be thirsty, and just to minimize exchanging germs from chapters or anything, since they won't be serving drinks, it'll be important to bring your own water bottles, just like have them in your bag. And then another thing is a change of shoes, because you'll be walking a lot from the dorms to your parties and then back to the dorms. So just a comfortable pair of shoes out of your dress shoes for the parties.
For sure. And also during this round, many students in the past during in-person rounds bring some snacks or cosmetic products or mini fan, towel, the drill, anything that could help you out. Obviously, this in-person round will only consist of a maximum of 2 parties, so you won't be outside as much as typical years, but that is okay. And just be prepared. And obviously, you can always ask your row gammas, your recruitment guides, what they think is beneficial to bring, or what you think you need or what you don't need. But definitely water bottle and change of shoes. You don't want those blisters and you don't want to be dehydrated. For sure. And row gammas will be stationed around campus and at intersections, and they will help you. And if you forget anything, they will be there to help.
So we actually just came up with a bid day plan, tentative, a few days ago. So as I mentioned previously, bid day is actually on the first day of school on August 24th. It's at night in the evening, but if you have a night class, do not skip. It's the first day of school. Do not put bid day at first priority over your classes. That's the OU, and we don't want sorority recruitment to interfere with that at all. So if you have a night class, don't skip it and don't worry about it if it's going to be interfering with bid day times. Different times that people will be going to their bid day activities. We did this so that we can split up going to the chapter facilities into smaller groups so that chapters aren't overwhelmed, and so that there's adequate space between people and adequate social distancing. So we'll have 6, 7, and 8 p.m. be our 3 times for bids to be distributed to P&Ms on bid night. And we're working on that P&Ms will be placed in their different groups according to their last names and class schedules. However, if you do have a conflict with any of those times, please email panhellenic@ou.edu, and we will for sure make accommodations. Like I said before, we don't want you to skip class because that's the most important part of school, obviously. So you will not miss out on bid day if you have a class during that time.
Okay.
Hold on. Sorry.
Okay, so one of the last things we're going to talk about is our Canvas page. So if you don't know what Canvas is, it's like where all your classes will be, and you'll have access to like different course pages. And so Panhellenic will have its own course page, and this will just have all of the information for recruitment. So you'll be able to find information for each round, like frequently asked questions, contact information, and general information like dates, the names of all the chapters at OU, and everything like that. So that'll be a great resource for you, just to look and see during recruitment. And so we'll start adding every P&M to the Canvas page on August 3rd, so next week. So you can look out for that. You'll get an invitation sent to your email inviting you to join the Canvas course, and you have to accept that invitation in order for it to pop up on your Canvas page. So just be on the lookout for that email and make sure to accept your course invitation. And so if you have any more questions, you can go to our PAN website. You can just search OU Panhellenic and it'll pop up. And it has a lot of information, like what to wear, what the rounds will look like, how you can get in contact with the PAN staff, frequently asked questions, anything like that. This is a great place for you to go and see if you can find the answer, or you can find our contact information to get in touch with us. And you can also follow us on social media. We have a PAN recruitment page for parents and families and one for students as well. And then you can also follow our Instagram. And that's it for our presentation.
So now if you guys, we're going to try to answer some of these questions. So if you also have more questions, you can go ahead and drop them in the Q&A or the chat box.
Okay, so we're gonna try to figure out if we can do that. Okay, so we're answering the first question. So do the links say what party you are going to? If there are 11 different links, what is the best way to keep up with them? And so the links to the different chapters will be in the Campus Director app, in which every PNM will have on their phone or computer. And so they receive the links there. They will also receive the links through email in their OU student email. And then also the links and the chapter names will be brought to their door on a piece of paper by their recruitment guides. Mm-hmm. And so this way it'll be pretty organized. So you won't have to really keep track of how or like which one name in it. So you'll know which party you're going to when.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for the next question, how does recruitment work for people who aren't freshmen and living off campus? I know it was mentioned that recruitment guides bring lists to your door. So good question. We're currently in the process of figuring out how our recruitment guides are to help our sophomores or those that live off campus. However, we will have a couple small groups devoted just to that. And as Meredith mentioned, we'll also have your app. Mm-hmm. So we are currently brainstorming how we get those paper physical ones to you, but no doubt you'll have your list of your parties, your links on time, just as everyone else would.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll answer the next question. Where is it? Sorry. Okay, for bid day, will everyone get their cards at the same time, or will people who have later meetup times not know about which house they will get until closer to their time? So yeah, so PNMs won't receive their bid until the time that they go to the chapter, and this is because we have to make sure that the first group is cleared out of all of the chapters before we can let the next group go. And so the PNMs getting their bid card is the cue that now it's time to go. And we wanted to make sure that we can get the people out, the last group out before the next group comes in, so there's not people just crowding everywhere.
And then the next question, can our parents and families attend bid day? We are not having parents or families or any guests attend bid day, just because we are trying to keep the groups as small as possible, as well as it will also be the first day of school, so it might be a little crazy on campus to begin with. and then having to try and navigate all these extra people on campus, it might be pretty hard. So unfortunately, no guests are allowed at bid day, but we know chapters are maybe working out some different virtual ideas or meetings for families, so we can keep looking out for that.
Okay, what should we wear on bid day? So on bid day, you can wear whatever you want. You'll most likely get a t-shirt whenever you go to your chapter for bid day. And so you can just wear shorts, pants, really whatever you want. It'll probably be hot, but you'll be provided with a shirt or some sort of fun, festive thing at the chapter.
Okay, so will we get to talk to people one-on-one during each round or just in groups? Good question. So this year, virtually, obviously, is going to look a little bit different, but the earlier rounds, most likely, it'll be a couple members to a couple PNMs, potential new members. So it'll just depend on how the chapters handle and the number of the people in the party. However, as we move into later on in the week, more likely one-on-one conversations will be able to happen because of smaller numbers.
Okay, so another question we have is, do you recommend using the university Wi-Fi, or would it be a good idea to have your own or use a hotspot? So you can really do whichever you are most comfortable with. The university, we're working with OUIT to make sure that there's no major like Wi-Fi outage. I think it would be wise though to have, if you do have a hotspot, to have that as backup, or if you just want to use that initially, that's fine too. It's really up to you. But we are making sure that our Wi-Fi will be capable during that time.
Okay, the next question is, do we still dress up for each themed round over Zoom? If so, will we need to show off our outfits in the Zoom call? So you don't have to dress up if you don't want to. You can, for the first round, you can wear your like favorite OU t-shirt, you can wear your favorite like colored shirt, whatever you want to wear. You can still continue to dress up if you want. That's totally fine, or you don't have to. That you won't be required to show your outfit or anything. Just wear what makes you feel confident and comfortable. I think maybe if I was going through, maybe I would dress up just for fun, but you definitely don't have to. It's just whatever you want to wear, whatever you feel good in, whatever makes you feel comfortable, that's totally fine.
Okay, so what is the app? So the app is going to be the Campus Director app, I think, but we will figure that out later once the PNMs, you guys, meet with the recruitment guides, and they will help you get everything set up so you're all good to go for the first round of recruitment and throughout the entire process.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this one's a good one. For bid day, do we have to sign up for a certain time? So no, we are going to obviously have a list of all of the potential new members who receive bids. And from that, we're going to assign certain times. So there's nothing that you can do on your part to choose a time if it's 6, 7, or 8. However, if you do have a class that happens within that time, so a night class on Monday night, please contact us so we can adjust, we can make sure that you get to go to a bid day and experience it just like everyone else will.
Okay, another question, will we be able to visit our house after bid day, or will we just go back to our dorms? So when bid day, whenever your time slot is, you have that 1 hour to be at the house for that specific time for bid day activities for whatever the chapter is doing. After bid day, Panhellenic is no longer involved with the chapter during recruitment because it's not recruitment anymore. So your chapter might have events planned, but that's not going through us. So that's completely up to them. But up until the last shift of bid day, when people go to the houses, that's all Panhellenic, and then after that is up to the chapter.
Okay, so the next question is, will we receive t-shirts to wear for round one like in the past years? So this year we are not doing t-shirts to wear for round one, just because we're all doing virtual, but you can still wear a t-shirt if you want, like OU t-shirt, your favorite color t-shirt, your favorite t-shirt, whatever you want to wear. T-shirt is totally fine, but we will not be doing t-shirts for round one.
And we were able to reduce the registration fee this year because we're not providing t-shirts. So that's why the registration fee was a lot cheaper.
Okay, the next question was about Greek Preview Day t-shirts. And our graduate assistant, Emily, is working on that. And so those who purchased a t-shirt during Greek Preview Day, which unfortunately didn't end up happening, but you will still receive your shirt. Just kind of hang on for us. We're working on it, but it'll get there.
Okay, this next question is there a way that you can check who has submitted your letters of recommendation? So good question. We have all of our information about letters of recommendation on our website. It's a complete page on its own. However, if you want to know if your letter of recommendations that you've reached out to alum to send, you can always just contact them. So there's no really way that you can find out if like the letter has made it there, but the contact that you chose for the alum to write you a letter of recommendation would be the best way to go about that.
Okay, so a popular question in here is, could you explain the process of choosing sororities after each round and what the process looks like in the end? Is it based on mutual selection, or do you pick your top two? So recruitment is a mutual selection process. So that what that means is that P&Ms are choosing chapters and chapters are choosing P&Ms. So in the end, if a P&M were to choose alpha, 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 and alpha, alpha, alpha chooses that P&M, then that's a match and they will be invited back. They have to match up, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it works.
Okay, another question is, what are the time frames for each day, or does it just depend? So each day will start at a different time. It usually starts around 9 or 10 in the morning. I don't know the specific times.
I think so. Round one, I'm pretty sure, is at 8 a.m. because that's the longest day. But then after that, I think round two is at 9, and then round three is at 9, I think, and then pref is at 10.
So it starts kind of there, and then your days might look different than like your roommates. Like you might have 2 parties in the morning and then 3 in the evening, and your roommate might have all 5 parties in the morning. So it just depends on your schedule and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what will date parties look like this year, and will they be non-existent due to COVID? So each chapter is different. Panhellenic as a whole doesn't necessarily monitor or dictate what each chapter does specifically and what date parties they may have. So we don't really have any way of knowing what they'll do, but I'm sure if anything does happen, it will be precautions in place due to COVID.
Okay, this one's good. Okay, due to big events not being allowed, will this year look different with chapter events? And will we still have the opportunity to be involved? Absolutely. I think one of the reasons this year is going to be a lot of chapters brainstorming and putting in a ton of work on how to include this new member process into this new normal that we're living in. And chapters are working so diligently to try to figure out what that will look like. And it will vary between chapters due to numbers and due to the way that the new member process works for each new member. But rest assured that everything that the chapters are brainstorming is going to be absolutely wonderful. They're doing the best they can to make it the best that they can. And it's just like, it's a huge process. We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to grow and just make this the best it can be. And so if you have any concerns about recruitment or about the way that sisterhood might look like, you can always contact us. But we have full faith in our chapters and what they are going to provide for y'all.
Okay, so going back to the selection process, a question is, if you did not select a certain chapter and they select you, are you still required to go to that meeting? So I'm assuming this is talking about if you do not select them, but they do select you, and then you end up back on their schedule the next day. Yes, you must attend every party on your schedule or you will be removed from the recruitment process. You can't just pick and choose where you want to go, because that's not fair to the chapter. And they've worked so hard to make every party awesome. And so if PNMs don't show up, that ruins the whole entire recruitment process. So yes, you have to attend every party that's on your schedule or you are removed from the recruitment process.
Okay, the next question, if we live off campus, should we let you guys know? You can, that would be great. You can also let your recruitment guides know. They should already know. They'll have a list of who their PNMs are. But if you want to, you can like work out something with them so they can get your schedule to you. But yes, letting us know would be great. And letting your recruitment guides know would be a really big help too.
Okay, so when will we first meet with our recruitment guides? So the first meeting you'll have with them is the night before recruitment begins. And so then you will go over pretty much everything you need to know for recruitment. They are going to be extremely equipped with all the information you need. And if, anything you may need to know, they'll provide you with that the night before recruitment begins.
And then another question is, if we have a class conflict with the bid day times, would you prefer us to email y'all sooner? Should we wait? Sooner is better. If you have a conflict, please let us know. We just want to be able to accommodate y'all. And as recruitment kind of gets moving, it's going to get kind of chaotic. So we'd rather just know ahead of time and be able to accommodate y'all as soon as possible.
So next question, when will we get our individual party schedule for each day? You'll get them in the morning before the first party starts. So you'll get them on the app, and your row gammas will also come around and give you your schedule as well.
Okay, next question. If you are not a freshman, will it be harder to get into a chapter or will it be the same? So we can't really determine anyone's recruitment experience. It doesn't really matter what age you are or what year you are, I guess. It just depends. And like we said, we can't like determine who has what type of recruitment experience throughout this whole thing. And so there's no like straight answer, but
chapters don't just look at you and based off your age and say yes or no. Like that's not how it works. So there's nothing to be worried about.
Okay, so at the end of each day, how will we submit our selections for houses to possibly go back the next day? So each evening, except for round 3, you'll only do selections one of the 2 days. You will make selections, and so those are private, and you will make those, and then you'll receive your chapter list the next morning about which chapters you're going back to.
And kind of going off that question, this other question says, going off this selection process, where do we select? Through a website, Canvas, email, etc. So it'll be through an app, which is wonderful. In years past, it was a website, and we had some difficulty with websites crashing and PNMs having uncertainty about where their selections went. But this year, we are using an app, and we are really excited for all of our PNMs to be using that, and that will happen at night, as she said. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you can't meet with your recruitment guide in person, will you be called in or on Zoom? So yes, there will be the option of meeting with your recruitment guide during the same time, but on Zoom if you either can't or if you just would rather not be in person, that's perfectly fine. And there will also be throughout the entire day for contact.
Okay, another question is there it is, sorry. Will we be scheduled to meet with our recruitment guides any other time than the night before? No, we only have scheduled meetings with your recruitment guides each night, but your recruitment guides will be available to like hang out if you have some breaks during your day, or if you want to talk to them about anything. They'll be around campus even on the virtual days, so you can hang out with them whenever. You'll just have scheduled meetings each night.
Okay, when do we find out who our RoGammas are? So you will, which is so exciting. We love RoGammas. You will find out who your recruitment guides are the evening before recruitment starts. That is when the first meeting is. But they're assigned to you. But they're all amazing. They're so excited to meet you all. We had a training today, and so it's just so fun to see their faces. But yeah, so you'll meet them the night before recruitment starts.
And then another question, will our first meeting with the recruitment guides be over Zoom or in person? So we have worked so diligently with OU to make this in person, and we will be social distancing, wearing masks, but we really feel like it's important for our PMs to build connections. So these meetings will happen in person at a designated location, and they will be at that location every night when they meet with their RoGammas. So excited.
Okay, since house tours are usually before prep, will they be uploaded online this year? So yeah, house tours usually are done in the sisterhood round, which is round 3. So we are giving the chapters the option to upload a house tour onto the Canvas that you all will be enrolled in. So you'll have the availability to watch their house tour on there if they choose to do so.
Okay, next question. How many houses will we have on preference night? You can have a max of 2 houses, but some people have 2, some people have 1. It just depends on your schedule.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so after prep night, will you for sure get one of the 2 houses, or how does it work? Okay, so this process is a little complicated, but it makes sense once you get it. Okay, so prep night, you could have 1 chapter or you could have chapters. And so as long as you maximize your options, that's our favorite saying, you are guaranteed, if you have 2 chapters and you go to those 2 parties, and you maximize your options, which means you place both chapters. One is number 1 and one is number 2. You are guaranteed one of those chapters. You don't know which one necessarily, but you will guaranteed one of those chapters. Another option that some PNMs decide to take is ISPing, which is intentional single preference, I think. Yeah. We'll go over all of this too, and you'll definitely know how to do this once we get to this round. But intentional single prefing is when you have 2 chapters, 2 parties that day, and you only decide to place 1 chapter on your list. Meaning that if you don't get that chapter, you would rather have no chapter the next day than go to the second chapter. So you're not guaranteed a chapter if you do it that way. That's probably a little confusing, but we will definitely go over that multiple times throughout the week, and your recruitment guides are educated and trained on how to talk to you about this and educate you to make sure that you know the decision you're making when it comes down to this. I hope that helps.
Yeah, and then if you have 1 chapter, congratulations, you have that 1 chapter on your list. So yes. It all just depends. We'll go over this. It won't be. You'll be pros by then.
Yeah, don't stress about knowing what you should do or anything. We'll get there eventually.
Okay, and then how many people are in your group with the RoGammas? So that just depends. It'll all depend on where people are living, and we'll shuffle it out. Registration is still open, so we don't know how many ultimate PNMs we'll be having, but once we shuffle that out, we'll have you all assigned, and it'll be so exciting. So.
Okay, is there a deadline for people to write letters of recommendation, or can they continue submitting until rush starts? So there's not a deadline, but we recommend getting those in as soon as possible. And since recruitment is literally right around the corner, I would recommend getting them in by next week so that chapters have time to process them and look at every one of them to make sure that you are getting that seen to them.
Okay, the next question, just lost it, sorry.
What was it? Okay, yeah.
It was if someone
positive.
tests positive for COVID and they aren't able to participate in recruitment, is there another option? We do have a fully virtual option for anyone who would rather do that. Whether it's because of a positive COVID test or if you don't feel comfortable participating in in-person rounds, that's totally fine. You can email the PAN website or the PAN email, panhellenic@ou.edu, and just let us know, and we'll get you set up with the fully virtual option for recruitment.
Okay, so the next question, will the recruitment days be all day with breaks in between, or will there be morning/afternoon sessions? So in order to keep our parties small, even on Zoom and in person, the days pretty much go, or the parties go all day long, but PNMs will only be in the maximum number of parties that they can be in that round. So chapters will most likely be going all day long, but PNMs you'll only have, if it's round 3, you'll only have 5 parties maximum, so you'll have lots of breaks in between. So don't worry about being super tired. You guys will be okay.
Well, plenty of time to rest and get lunch, and you'll be good.
Yep, for sure.
And oh my goodness, I just missed it. Okay, well, the question was, are there many women that go through recruitment that are involved in other things such as sports or organizations? And the answer is absolutely yes. All 4 of us, well 5 including Kylie, are all a part of different organizations, including our sororities and outside of campus, and on campus. So being in a sorority almost is a part of your college experience. It's not the center, it's a part of it, and you can be involved in whatever. Your chapters are going to be so accommodating. They're going to support you. They're going to uplift you. They're going to want all their members to be involved in other things. And I think that's one of the most amazing things about OU Panhellenic is how many of our women are active on campus and outside of campus too.
Going off of that, I just want to say I'm going to be a senior this year, and I've worked 2 jobs my entire college career, so it's definitely doable. And I'm in a sorority, and I am thriving, so it's all good. Next question, when do you have to submit your selections each night? So your selections will be done with your Rho Gammas at your nightly meetings, and so they'll make sure that you get it in by then. There's not like a specific cutoff time, but before that meeting's over, you'll have done your selections, and your Rho Gammas will make sure you have that done.
Another question, how many people will one be talking to? Will you be in a group talking to the girls, or okay, so how many people will you be talking to in a party? It'll be different for each round. So in rounds 1 and 2, you might be talking to more than one girl, or it might look like 2 PNMs talking to 3 active chapter members, or something like that, just because the parties are a little bit bigger. But as the days go on and we keep going through the parties, we're aiming to have that one-on-one conversation, just so you can get to know the chapter a little bit better, get to know the girls you're talking to a little bit better. So you'll kind of get the best of both worlds. You'll get to be in some breakout rooms with PNMs and active chapter members, and then you'll also get to be in a one-on-one conversation as well.
Okay, this question says, is it true that Rho Gammas can reveal their sororities during Rush? So last year was the first year that we fully affiliated our Rho Gammas during recruitment, and it went wonderfully. The main reason of this is that it's your guys' process. There's no concealing of where we are from or what chapter we're a part of. There shouldn't be any of that. It's about you guys, and we felt that if we didn't affiliate, it kind of brought the attention on Rho Gammas, and that was really beside the point, and we just felt like it was not necessary. And so it went absolutely great last year, and we're going to be doing that this year. So your Rho Gammas will be affiliated with their chapters, but they will not be in close contact with their chapters. They're not going to be communicating with them. However, if you do feel the need to ask what chapter they are part of, or want to know that, they're going to give it to you. So not that big of a deal, but yes, they will be affiliated.
And if you do decide that you're like, no way, I don't want to know, which totally awesome too. And they will not tell you. So you don't have to know. You don't not have to know. It can be whatever you want. So, okay. The next question is, will chapters not give you a bid if you do not have a letter of recommendation? So letters of recommendations are not on the PNM to obtain in order to be a member of a chapter. So if a certain chapter requires a letter of recommendation, it is their job to obtain that for you before you even get your bid. So long story short, don't stress out if you don't have a recommendation letter for every chapter. If you want to get them, you're more than welcome to get them and have people write them for you, but they're not a make it or break it into a certain chapter.
Okay. Will there still be a round of open bidding after? So continuous open bidding, the way that that works is after bid day, after recruitment is over, the entire process is over, we look at the number of people in each chapter on campus, and we determine a number called total, and that's the average number of members within each chapter. And so open bidding is based off of that number, and chapters will have the opportunity to distribute bids up to that number if they are below. If they're over, then it doesn't matter. But that's not determined until the next day after bid day. So yes, but not until the next day.
Okay, another question. If I'm in PCS, is it complicated to be in a sorority as well? And this can really go for like any extracurricular activity or like club you join. It won't be difficult. A lot of chapter members are members of PCS, PLC, anything like that. It's definitely, it'll be fine. You might have to learn how to balance your time a little bit, but chapters really encourage you to get involved in outside organizations and get involved on campus. So if something does come up where you have maybe a time conflict, they'll work with you, but it will be totally fine.
Okay, great. And then this question is, how do grades impact chapter selection? So that differs from chapter to chapter. However, grades is only a part of who you are, and our chapters are encouraged to look at the entire P&M as a whole, what they are interested, what they're involved in, how the conversation goes. So yes, it is a factor, but it is not the sole factor, and chapters vary. But if you have any specific questions or concerns, always contact us before anything else, but do not stress. Our chapters are great at initiating conversation and getting to know you instead of your resume. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, when would the first meeting be after bid day for new members? So this will differ for each chapter, but you'll for sure, be in contact through GroupMe, through text. You'll probably get a bid day big. There'll be lots of communication between you and that chapter, but it's up to the chapter to designate those times or Zoom call or whatever it may be for the first meetings after bid day.
Okay, if you guys have any more questions, you can put them in the Q&A box, or
Kylie's been answering them in the chat.
Yeah.
So we got those taken care of.
Yes. And if you guys think of any questions later, you can always email us. Again, our emails are on the PAN website, or you can just email the Panhellenic email, and you'll get in touch with one of us.
Riley, Meredith, do you have anything else?
Okay, here, I'm looking at the chat box, actually, that Kylie has been awesome, and she's been answering some of those questions. Okay, but so I see this question from somebody. It says, how much will recommendation letters help you get into a certain chapter? And so, like I said earlier, recommendation letters are not required for the P&M to obtain. So I promise, do not worry about getting, if you don't have a recommendation letter for a certain chapter, it's okay. Yeah. Don't freak out about it. Yeah. The chapter will obtain that for you through somebody that they know to make sure that you are covered to be a part of that chapter.
Yes. And then the other question is, do you have to do youth-sing if you're a part of a chapter? No. So I didn't do youth-sing because I'm terrible at singing and dancing. So it's all good. I mean, if you love to sing and dance, try out for youth-sing. You might as well, but you're not by any means required to do youth-sing. No.
Yeah, each chapter will have their own things that they want you to be a part of and all of that. But
other ways to get involved. Yeah. There are so many more ways to get involved than youth-sing or scandals or anything like that.
Definitely. But we love these questions. I feel like we've gotten a lot of good questions.
These are all really good questions that we haven't really thought of. So it's good.
So we hope this eased some of y'all's nerves and answered some questions. We know there are a lot of like unanswered things going on, and it looks way, way, way different. But we promise Pan and all of the chapters at OU are working really, really hard to make it as normal and exciting and easy as possible. And okay, there's another question. Who should we email if we have classes from 6 to 8 on bid day? You can email panhellenic@ou.edu, and we'll make sure that we get something worked out. Again, if you have classes on bid day, don't worry. I have class on bid day. I'm really sad. But it'll be fine. We're going to work something out. So just email Pan and we'll get it all figured out.
Don't skip class.
Don't skip class.
And you can find all of our contact information on the PAN website as well. So if you want to reach out to one of us specifically, you can do that too.
Yeah. So
Other than that,
thank you guys so much for coming. We really appreciate you guys taking out time.
so the question was about financial help and accommodations. You can also email panhellenic@ou.edu or any of us to get that worked out, to get that question worked out. Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Oh, we got a couple more.
So we'll answer these two, and then and then we'll let y'all go. Thanks for listening. Okay, if we have class on bid day, but there is class online, what should we do? Go to class. Yes. I mean, there's a chance that classes might be shorter that day or something, but honestly, like we will work with you. You will get a bid day one way or the other. But truly go to class. It's so important to go, especially during the first week and the first day.
Yeah, it's your first day of college, so for most of you. So that's like huge. Like
yeah.
We'll accommodate y'all, no worries.
Yeah, just send us an email and we'll work with all of you.
Yeah. And then when will we run home on bid day? Good question. Yes. Running home, it might be a little less amount of P&Ms total and less members at the chapters, but you will still have that running home experience and get all sweaty and it'll be all good. So no worries.
Okay, and then the last question on here is, do you have any tips for sticking out over Zoom? Really just be yourself. That's the big thing. This recruitment is going to be pretty much the exact same, just on Zoom online. So you just focus on those conversations, be attentive, active listening, but really just be yourself. The chapters are so ready to learn about you, and they have so much to share with you, and they are going to do a really good job at facilitating conversation and making sure everyone gets a chance to speak. And we're going to send out a virtual guide as well pretty soon, so you guys will have tips and reminders and all of that information, and a lot of the information that we talked about today will be in that as well.
So thank you guys so much. We can't wait for Recruitment 2020. We're so excited to meet all of you guys. So if you have any questions, email us. But other than that, we really appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you.
Guys.